Welcome. What do you think? How are things going right now? Because, for someone like me who's I have to admit, I'm a novice when it comes to Punjab politics, but it looks like things are getting more vicious and more irreversible as the days progress. How is it looking from the inside, Rashid?
I think, Shiv, it's a storm in a teacup, a pre-election hiccup. The problem with Congress is that it knows it cannot win election without captain, and they need Sidhu, particularly after his stand on Kartarpur Sahib and that kind of appeal that he has for a section of Sikh votes. So a kind of compromise is being worked out, and it's not taking place because both sides are hardening their position. I think for the time being, it's disadvantage Sidhu because he's crossing that Lakshman Rekha of party discipline. I don't think he will act impatient and leave the party or go to Aam Aadmi Party or something like that.
Okay.
But the High Command is not in a position to assert itself because of political situation. It's a fluid political situation.
Very interesting.
See, if the day they get this internal report that captain on his own can make it, they will decide. They will throw their lot behind Captain Amarinder Singh. But so far, they have not got this kind of, internal feedback. And that is the root cause of problem. So a bit of cat and mouse game will continue. I think sometime in October, things will become clear.
Very, very interesting, Charan. Charan, you want to respond to that? There's nothing wrong with it. This is a part and parcel of election politics, that your party is having to play a little bit of cat and mouse. The leadership cannot decide one way or the other because there are political risks right before the election. So you are waiting for some kind of assurance that Captain Amarinder Singh has this in the bag and Sidhu is not going to be some kind of a saboteur in this election before you take a call. That's what this crisis committee is about, Charan.
Shiv, the evaluations have to be done about the current situation, and maybe the High Command must be undergoing that process of evaluation. But as far as the Punjab elections are concerned, let me tell you very frankly that the elections will be contested on the issues of the state and also how the government has worked over there. As far as the Aam Aadmi Party, the spokesperson was talking, let me remind him that they should first keep their flock together. Already 3 MLAs have left Aam Aadmi Party and
joined the Congress. Absolutely.
Another 3-4 are ready to join Congress. So they should concentrate on their party. They should keep their flock together. Don't worry about Congress party. We'll take it ahead. And
no, but it's not wrong for the Aam Aadmi Party to look to gain from, the internal turmoil of the Congress, because that is something that, any political party would do. Am I right, Mr. Grewal? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. No party would admit that. You will say that it's an internal problem of the Congress, but the Aam Aadmi Party is hoping that this bruising battle between the two iconic Sardars of Punjab will be advantage up.
Well, when this battle basically, what happens is when this battle is basically damaging Punjab, when Punjab is suffering, our main concern is, obviously, it is their internal matter. They can take it anywhere. They can do whatever they want. But what Sidhu is saying, 70-30 or 70-30, what Sidhu is saying that the people running mock, and when Captain Amarinder Singh takes a dossier of 40 MLAs to Delhi Darbar and says that I've got 40 MLAs who are corrupt, I've got these people who are corrupt. It is a very sad state of affairs. The fact remains that as of now, I was surprised when I heard the Congress spokesperson talking about the 2017 manifesto 5-6 months or 7 months before the 2022 elections. Basically, the manifesto was just a piece of paper which has to be dusted now and brought out again. So the sufferer is Punjab. They are not iconic in any way. You've heard Sidhu, you've heard about people talk about Sidhu in his constituency. Mr. Maharaja Saab has not stepped out of his palace except to go to Delhi ever since the pandemic broke.
But
so how are they iconic?
The irony is what you've just said about Sidhu's constituency is perhaps the most direct thing any Aam Aadmi Party leader has said about Sidhu in the last few weeks, which is interesting. But Rashid, coming back to you, Charan, I see your hand. I'll come to you in just a moment.